Welcome to another video about therapeutic medical physics and preparing for the Part 3 ABR exam. So, suggested on the card in the beginning of the video, you may be seeing a picture of a piece of radiochromic film, and they may simply ask, what is this? What are some of the advantages? So, that film that you just saw on the card, that is chromic film. It's a brand of radiochromic film, and it has many advantages compared to radiographic film. So the first thing is that it is tissue equivalent. So that's very nice. Obviously, in radiotherapy, we want to deal with the human body and things that are tissue equivalent when we have the option. And for radiochromic film, that is an option. It also has very high spatial resolution. So when we're doing, if we can use radiochromic film for IMR TQA or simply star shots or other things that may require better spatial resolution, especially if you're looking at maybe using a multi-isocenter or single isocenter brain lab plan, and you just really want good spatial resolution to be sure that your dose distribution is as expected, that comes in handy. It also has a large range. So some of the radiographic film, you need to have a certain type of film for a certain exposure level. But for chromic film, we can do, I think it's 10 to the -2 to 10 to the 6. Sorry, I'm running out of room. So 10 to the -2 to 10 to the 6th gray. So that is a huge range that you can irradiate this film, and it still will be able to properly give you an accurate description of what dose has been irradiated. There's also very low energy dependence, if any at all. It is insensitive to visible light and no chemical processing. So that is certainly nice, less equipment. Obviously this film costs more than radiographic film, but you don't have to buy solutions or any other equipment to finish the processing of it and see your results. So those are the advantages. And now, often in an exam, they're going to ask you to see if you've used this and do you know how to use it. So the first, and something very important with radiochromic film, is that it's very sensitive to how it's used. And so if you as a physicist were doing an experiment, would you have another physicist calibrate the film? So the film is very, very sensitive to how it's calibrated. And so to answer this question, I personally would do it myself. Everything that needs to be done or is done for how the experiment is finished, that should also be the case for the calibration as well. Things like the orientation of the way the film is shot and scanned, the timing between when you do your calibration curve and your experiment, all these things, although seemingly insignificant and maybe you wouldn't think they would matter, play a big role in analyzing with chromic film. And so that is why I would do it myself. Even if you do have a guideline in the department, it needs to be very detailed and everyone needs to be on the same page to ensure that the film is properly calibrated and scanned in an accurate manner. So next, when you're using the film, where should you irradiate it in terms of, should it be in the buildup region? Should it be at Dmax? How should you shoot the chromic film? So oftentimes you're going to use solid water. So let's say, for example, we want to use a light to rad test. We want to shoot that. So typically you would have some amount of solid water here. You would then have your film, very small, and then some solid water in the bottom for backscatter and things of that nature. And so how deep should you put that film? So here is a normal percent depth dose curve for our photons. You are going to want it past Dmax. So right here's Dmax. And so by putting it past Dmax, not only are you now in transient charge particle equilibrium, but in the buildup region and at Dmax, the slope varies quite a bit. A very small error in setup could result in a big dose distribution change and impede your results and making them look good. And so be sure that it is past the buildup region when you are shooting the film. Then in general, how does this film even work? How does it require processing? How does it work? So if you would take this as my Radiochromic film right here, it's obviously not scaled to correct size, but this top layer is a micrometer thin radiosensitive dye that is bonded to a mylar base. So that changes this base, or not the base, but that dye, it changes to different shades of blue as the polymerization is induced by the radiation. So the stability of this is 24 hours. So it means that after 24 hours, you are good to go in looking at your experiment, scanning and measuring your results. But don't do it before then, because these processes are ongoing for 24 hours. You also do not want any exposure to humid conditions or UV light, because although it doesn't react to visible light, UV light may stimulate some of the processing. Also, the calibration curve must be made per batch. Typically, you purchase a batch of film, and it comes 24 films in there, something in that range, and you need a calibration curve for each batch, not just the same brand or the same type of film, but for each individual batch. And this turning of blue, the dye, that is a linear relationship with dose. So another question that may be asked is the energy dependence of this radiochromic film. So say I use this film for a 6x. Would you use the same film for an 18x experiment? Or say you even have an I-125 radioactive seed. Could you use that same film for that you used for that 6x experiment? And both from my personal experience and from everything that we know with radiochromic film, there is very little energy dependence for these, so you in fact can use the same film. You would think, since someone would ask that, maybe like a trick question, of course you can't use it. You gotta use different films for it, but not with radiochromic film. That's one of the big advantages, and that may be a question they throw out that may be a bit tricky, but really ensures that you know what you're doing with radiochromic film and you have used it in the past. The final thing I want to mention is, if you have any questions with radiochromic film, or if you're unsure of an answer, or if you just want to know more, what is a good resource to look up and use as a reference? And that would be TG55. Any oral exam or exam in general, whether it be short answer or I guess it doesn't help you on multiple choice, but TG55, knowing the task groups and the resources, is an extremely valuable answer and tool, whether you're just working in the clinic or answering an exam. So if you have any other questions about radiochromic film, please comment below. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.